Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Sunday the 27th of February 2022. Now we're going to start off with something that's just kind of shocked me, but it's just popped up today. Now I've been telling you a couple of times this week that the under-23s will be playing at QPR on the 1st of March, Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, and I was telling you it was at Wealdstone FC. And you could probably get yourself down there. Well, you can't go down there, and we're going to get into why you can't go down there. It's a pretty sad and confusing story. So this is from qpr.co.uk. So obviously they're pushing a recast. They're on recast as well. I've seen a lot of people digging out recast. But here's the thing, right? Now everyone, well, a lot of people were slagging off iFollow, digging it out, saying it's shit, sort it out, and the club's to listened and they're trying to do something. And they've gone with this recast, which it does seem to be a little bit better, but the method of how you use it seems to be putting a few people's noses out of joint. Watching the adverts to get credits, and then you use the credits to pay to watch the videos. It seems people are not really a fan of that. But what you got to realise is it looks likely that recast will be replacing iFollow. Do you understand? Now, what does that mean? So will there be a subscription, or will they just follow this pay per play? I'm not too sure. I think I subscribe to iFollow. I think it's like 60 quid a year. I think it was, because it just all I renewed, and I just said yeah, right, because I signed up to it first for, I think, the first year of the pandemic, or maybe before then, and then I just still I renewed it. I think it's like 60 quid a year for iFollow. Now if you go back to the recast situation, now for a under 23 game it's 250 credits, which if you try and put credits on your account by using money, 500 is £5, so that means it's £2.50 to watch the under 23 game. And this game here, the QPR game, will be 250 credits. You can book in now, book your place now if you want, spend your credits. But yeah, so going forward with that, so when we had COVID and all the games were on iFollow, it was £10 per game to watch the games. So if you do that now, we're not allowed to do, I'm not sure how the rules are if you're not on iFollow. I don't think you can just willy-nilly broadcast every game you want. I think there's still restrictions in place in terms of Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs. You can't show them. We won't be allowed to show them on recast, I don't think. I'm not too sure, to be honest here, but I don't think we can. So it's still gonna be midweek games, and I think there's a limit of 8 now. But that's on iFollow. Now I'm saying, if we're not on iFollow, can that go up? But then you're looking at, so if it's £10 a game, you're looking at 80 quid just to watch the 8 midweek games. But you already paid that anyway. You're paying your 60 quid for the audio, and will Recast be doing audio? So this is a weird situation that the products that Recast do doesn't entirely match up with the iFollow and what Millwall have been doing so far. So what will happen going forward? Will they do the audio on Recast? Can you do that? Will they do that? Will they just have like a graphic on the screen? Maybe they'll have the stats up and they'll do live stats. That would be kind of interesting if they could do that with the audio as it goes along. That would be something to do. But then how much is that going to cost in terms of credits? You would think to listen to a game, how much would you pay for that? £2.50? Would that be £2.50? And then if you're going to do, if you can't have an annual subscription and you have to pay for the audio on Recast game by game by game, even if you can supplement it with some free credits that you get from watching the adverts, that's still going to cost you more than an annual subscription to iFollow. So I can see why a lot of people maybe not that happy with the Recast solution to the iFollow problem. But I don't know. We have to see going forward, and we have to see if when the club does switch from iFollow to Recast, how it copes with the numbers of Millwall fans, because there's a lot of Millwall fans on that iFollow. I've seen a long time ago, I did see a letter sent to Millwall from the Football League, and they send out a list of all the clubs on the iFollow, and then they have next to the club's name, they have the amount that they were paid that quarter for their fans using iFollow. For some reason, they told all the clubs, it's like the information, like for some reason, I don't know why, they shared that information with all the other clubs, so like you could find out what the club down the road was making from iFollow. And on that list, I shit you not, Millwall were probably top 5. Seriously, top 5. There's some big clubs on that list, and we were round about number 5. So a lot of Millwall fans do use the iFollow. They do follow the games, and you're gonna be doing it on Recast, because if that's the only game in town, you're gonna have to use it, or you're gonna miss out. So let's have a read of this story. Never mind me waffling on. QPR under-23s host Millwall at Wealdstone FC on Tuesday, 1st of March. Kickoff 1 PM GMT, and you can watch the game live on club's Recast channel. Current ground regulations at Grosvenor Vale, detailed here, we'll get to that shortly, mean that we are unfortunately unable to admit fans to the fixture. So that's my plans out the window, and you as well. If I persuaded you in my previous videos to go to Wealdstones ground to watch this game, you cannot. However, all supporters can purchase a live match streaming pass for the game now by clicking here, which leads you to the Recast platform. And then they tell you here, microtransaction model. Yep, you know all about that. So let's just get into what the fuck's going on. So this is from WealdstoneFC.com. Statement from the board of directors. It is with huge regret and disappointment we have to announce that our National League home fixture this Saturday against Torquay United must be played behind closed doors with no spectators present. On the 15th of January 2022, during our National League home fixture against Dover Athletic, a section of the pitch perimeter barrier failed. In collaboration with the local council and relevant safety authorities, we put in place a plan to mitigate the risk of this happening again, whilst we worked in parallel to find and secure a company to replace the existing barriers in its entirety. This plan largely succeeded in our last home fixture against Wrexham, but unfortunately it was a further incident in the final minute of the game when the visitors scored their winning goal. Last night the club was surprised and disappointed to receive a letter from the local council with a prohibition notice informing us that home matches must be played behind closed doors with no spectators admitted until the remedial works to replace the entire pitch perimeter had been completed. Work had already commenced to secure the materials and labour required, and we were doing everything possible to ensure the new fence is in place and tested in time for our next home fixture against Weymouth on the 12th of March 2022. So there you go. Despite the pandemic, the club has invested 200k over the last 2 years on improving the stadium and support facilities. Spectator safety is of paramount importance, and we will do whatever it takes in order to ensure that the situation is resolved. Look forward to welcoming Stones fans and visiting supporters back to the Vale as quickly as possible. We will keep our supporters updated. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, it looks like the perimeters collapsed. They did something, I don't know what they did. Maybe they closed off the section where the perimeter's on both sides to stop the fans from going that way. I don't know what they did, but that didn't work against Wrexham, arguably the biggest, one of the biggest teams in the leagues, along with Torquay. And that means we can't go and watch QPR under 23s versus Millwall under 23s at Wealdstone FC because the council have shut them down because it's safety issues. So there you go. Quite surprising, shocking. Wealdstone FC not having the best of time in the National League, at the bottom of the table, and it seems they're struggling financially as well. So that's kind of a shame. Hope they get sorted and sort all that stuff out. I'm sure the money from QPR that they pay to hire out the pitch to play the under 23s is very much appreciated. Hopefully that helps them out. And speaking of West London, this popped up today. Brentford linked with Millwall's emerging talent Tyler Burey. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, but it's all around the way. It's all around the web, and it was actually from the Sun newspaper. Brentford are reportedly keen on signing Millwall winger Tyler Burey. The 21-year-old has recently broken into the Lions side and has started back-to-back matches in victories over Derby County and Sheffield United. The winger has repaid Gary Rowett's faith in him with 2 goals in 3 games. The South London club against the Rams and QPR. Let me stop you there. He signed Oliver Burke when Tyler Burey was still here. He signed Oliver Burke to go ahead of Tyler Burey. Tyler Burey was here. He was fit. He was ready to go, and Oliver Burke was playing instead. So if Oliver Burke wasn't injured, Tyler Burey would not be playing. So Gary Rowett didn't have any faith in Tyler Burey. So let's get that straight. Now the Sun are reporting that Burey has caught the eye of Brentford boss Thomas Frank. With his pace and power, they add that the Bees are always on the lookout for young and emerging talent. And see Burey as just that. The former AFC Wimbledon winger was loaned out to Hartlepool at the beginning of the season and scored 3 goals in 7 appearances before he suffered a hamstring injury that cut short that spell. Yeah. Exactly. So maybe Gary Rowett will realise that Tyler Burey is a good player when there's a Premier League team trying to sign him. Maybe you think, why did we sign Oliver Burke and Luke Freeman on loan when Tyler Burey's being chased after by Premier League clubs? Maybe, I don't know. But Brentford can fuck off, because hopefully they can. I don't know. How long has Tyler Burey got on his contract? I think he did sign an extension, didn't he? Or was that the rest of it? I know there was a story in August, September, when all the under 23s that went on out on loan did sign extended deals. Isaac Loffey, Hayden Muller, Mitchell. Pretty sure they all signed at the same time. Was Tyler Burey in that? Hopefully. So moving on now to this. This is from news@den.co.uk. And this has already been mentioned, but so Millwall's Gary Rowett asked if former recruitment chief Alex Aldridge is rejoining from Stoke City. A Mill boss Gary Rowett preferred not to comment on a report that Alex Aldridge is set to return to the club from Stoke City. Aldridge was the Lions' head of recruitment before he left with the same role with the Potters in August 2020. Aldridge led the Lions' recruitment from 2017, and in his time heading up that department, Mill signed current first-team regulars Bartosz Białkowski, Jake Cooper, Murray Wallace, Ryan Leonard, and Tom Bradshaw, as well as George Towell for his first permanent spell at the club. When asked after the 1-0 win over Sheffield United at the Den on Saturday if he could comment on the report, Rowett replied, "No, not really." Millwall appointed Harvey Bustle as head of recruitment in January 2021. Interesting. So this story pops up today. Now, this was announced earlier on the week, right? So this, I'm not trying to dig out news at Den or John Kelly here, but what is the point of this story? Especially with the quote from Gary Rowett, like, "No, not really." It's, I don't know the point of this story. Reading between the lines, do they know? Is News at Den publishing this because they know? Because Alex Aldridge set up News at Den. He used to work for News at Den. So do they know that it is happening, and they're publishing this story so that when it does happen, they can say, "Hey, we knew it was happening." And it's just weird to have especially with the quote from Garrett saying, "No, not really." Yeah, it's just a weird little story. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Now, it was speculated that maybe Garrett's leaving at the end of the season. He's taking Harvey Bustle with him. Maybe Harvey Bustle's just quitting. Maybe Garrett's staying and Harvey Bustle's leaving. I don't. Has he moved down from the Midlands, or does he travel every day? Maybe traveling every day is getting on your tits. I imagine a lot of what he does can be done remotely. I shouldn't think he has to travel down every day. He probably has to drive down 2 or 3 days a week. Don't know. Maybe he's already sick. He's sick of that already. Harvey Bustle. I'm doing that. So maybe he's leaving. Maybe Garrett's leaving, taking him with him. Don't know. It's all very weird, isn't it? And not only is it a weird situation, this story is really weird as well. But something's going on. And we will find out in good time when it reveals itself what it is. Hopefully it's good for Millwall Football Club. But who knows? So moving on to, I'm going to move on to every Sunday we do Stat Sunday. So if a lot of people don't like that, not interested in that, if you're not, thank you for watching and catch you in the next video. And now we're going to move on to the stats. So now the game against Sheffield United yesterday, it was a gritty game. It was wasn't a game of many chances. They had more chances than us, but we had the one that counted because we were the one that scored, and we had the better defending. We did, and you can see here. So this is experimental361.com. It's the expected goals over the length of the match, and it's plotted so that the lines go along, and any time there's an XG, the line jumps up, and the higher it jumps up, the better that chance is. And you can see on the 60th minute, the blue line jumping up with the circle on it. That's Jake Cooper's goal. That's his bullet header banging towards goal. That was a very high XG chance, 0.4 probably. That Jake Cooper's 0.4 is probably just that chance. So that means it's a 40% chance. And that was the best chance of the game. It was our best chance of the game. It was a goal. So fantastic stuff. But you can see in the first half, we didn't have a shot until we didn't have an XG shot until basically the end of the half. Only one shot. Now we kind of got poleaxed. Mason Bennett went off, and we kind of like, well, what do we do now? What do we do now? Brought George Evans on. What was he kind of doing? I don't know. But then obviously at half time they sorted it out, figured it all out, played a lot better. And you can see there as we come out, a little bit of a staircase, which is what you want to see. We refer to this as a staircase, basically. So when the line goes up, that's a chance on goal. When it goes along, that's time moving along. So you want a staircase because you want a chance every probably 5 minutes. So you attack, you have a chance on goal, they get the ball from a goal kick or whatever, the goalkeeper has it hands, they come back at you, you take the ball off them, you go again. You do that every 5 minutes, you have a staircase where it goes up and along and up and along and up and along. That's what we've got as the start of the second half. And then we score. And then they have some very good chances. And Bart Biakowski made some fantastic saves. And we needed him to. Because they brought in a substitute that substitution they made, they kind of went for it a little bit, and you can see after Jake Cooper's goal we had one more XG shot, and then nothing for the rest of the second half, just defending for basically, what was that, 20 minutes or so. So not the best of games in terms of attacking per hour going forward, but a gritty, determined defensive display that got the result that it needed. And you can see here the XG overall for Millwall was 0.6, and for Sheffield United it was 0.7. So they did have more shots than us. So you would expect the XG to be higher, but our defending stopped them from getting that one, which is fantastic. So we're just going to move on to this now. This is from infogoal.net, and they have the XG very differently. Look in the middle where the red FT is, they give the XG as 0.35 to Millwall, 0.79 to Sheffield United. That is insane. If that's, I don't know how they calculate it, but to get one goal off of 0.35 XG is insane. So there are the events of the match. Yellow cards and substitutions. A lot of yellow cards for them. They were very physical. And they seem to be targeting a few players in particular. Tyler Burey kind of stands out. So on this website, I like this. This is what I keep going on this website for, because I love this. This is the XG map. So you've already seen the XG over the length of the time of the game. Now the XGs on where the XGs were taken, the shots were taken on the pitch. And you can see Millwall, not many shots. 3 inside the area. One of them, they're probably all, they might all be headers. Yeah, there's one from Jake Cooper. That wasn't a goal. That's the Jake Cooper one that went in. The one in the 6-yard box. Then there's another one there. Is that, I can't even click on it. It's so small. That was Murray Wallace. Oh yeah, Murray Wallace. He had a decent chance as well. That was a shot right. So that was the one in the first half, right at the end. That was Murray Wallace. That was close. So you can see the defenders coming forward with the goals and the chances. Jed was taking a few long shots, and Danny McNamara with a shot from distance as well. Let's get first half. So the first half, all we really had was that Murray Wallace chance. Unbelievable. Second half, we did a lot more. Obviously sorted things out. Let's have a look now at what Sheffield United done. You can see here. So this is the one, Gibbs White, right at the end, nearly 83rd minute. That's the one where Bart dived in at him, got a little bit of a dig in his ribs, but did what he had to do. I hope he's okay. Can't, if Bart gets injured, we definitely might be fucked, to be honest here. So you can see that they had 4 shots in the area as well all game, but look how small they are, taking pot shots. They had one very, very good chance. But that one there, the Robinson one, that was the one that's swerving, and Bart Biekowski made a fantastic save. So that was going to dip in under the crossbar, and that was a fantastic save from that shot. In terms of second half, first half for Sheffield United, not a lot going on for them, but 3 shots to our 1. Second half for Sheffield United, that's when they stepped up the gear, but still they could only get that one decent chance inside the area. The through ball cutting through defence, Scott Malone I think it was, and then Bart Biekowski had to dive in and save the day. Fairness rating, was it a fairness rating? Was that a fair result based on the chances created? 55 out of 100, so they're saying we could probably got away with that one. Probably, but you know, what can you say? So let's move on now to whoscored.com. Here we go, the match report. Strengths, weaknesses and styles. Lost possession often. Yeah, we gave the ball away a lot, didn't we? Sheffield United gave away a lot of free kicks around the box. Yes, and thank you for that, because that's how we got our goal. Thank you so much. So you can see on the right hand side, top 5 players, all Millwall players. Nice. And here we go. So attempts 6 to 8, 1 to 6 open play, 5 to 2 set pieces. So it really was, they were trying to thread the through balls through. We were just trying to play set pieces, and that our style worked out over their one, because our defence stood up to their open play through balls style. You can see here 1 goal from 6 shots. That's 16% conversion rate. That is very high for us. That is very high. That's pretty decent conversion rate when you think that's just of the total shots. We probably had something like 2 shots on target, if I'm beyond, if probably something like 2 or 3. So that's going to be even higher then. So here we are, going down both of the wings, and the same for them. They were both going down the wings as well. There's shots, our shots from the middle, mostly. Theirs was all over the shop. There's that. Action zones. Yeah, a lot of defending in there, because they had the ball. They had more possession than us, so that was not good. And there you go. What is going on there with Sheffield United on the left hand side there? Weird. They got like a little triangle there of 33, 24 and 19. All very weird. Is that probably trying to deal with Jed Wallace? I don't know, maybe. They are kind of back on the halfway line. So Tyler Burey playing point. Jed Wallace behind him. And in this game, Scott Malone and McNamara are actually getting forward a bit more than in the last game. Billy Mitchell sitting just in front of that front 3, the back 3 I mean, Not bad, not bad. Okay. So let's move on now to this. So if you look at the club badges at the top, you can see 6.86 for Millwall, 6.32 for Sheffield United. That is the average player rating added up and divided by the number of players. So we were better than them. Even though we had lower XG, we had lower shots, the player ratings were higher. Why? Fundamentals. Tackles, clearances, headers, basic second balls, fundamentals. We did what we had to do. You can see here, so nearly all the midfielders for Sheffield United got booked insanely, and it was because of that one of those free kicks they gave away that led to the goal. So their little plan, whatever it was, really to get as play as tough as Millwall, didn't really work out for them. Ballard getting a 7.2 off of the bench is interesting. Let's scroll down. So Jane Cooper, man of the match, 8.4. Obviously, we scored. I think he probably had two shots, one on target, probably something like that. So to score from that is outstanding. And add to that his defensive displays, it's gonna boost him up there. Just looking at the Sheffield United players, none of them above 7. None of them. Norwood was high, 6.9. But for Millwall, a lot of 7s there. A lot of 7s. Everyone is 7 except for Murray, Malone, Mason, and Tyler. Okay, so total shots 6 to 8. So there you go. Yeah, Cooper had 2 shots, 1 goal. Jed Wallace with the assist and 2 shots of his own. So Burey and Bennett did not have a shot. Okay. Possession, yeah. Possession was we kept giving the ball away. Couldn't keep it. See, Norwood here, he had basically 11% of the match possession just on him. This number here is percentage of the total match possession. So like if the ball goes out of play, no one's in possession, but when a player has the ball, they add it all up. He had 11% of the game time just possession for him. And for Millwall, like these numbers are poor. This is really poor. Normally it'd be a lot higher for this. Wallace 4.5, Malone 4.5. And that, to be honest with you, that's probably bumped up by Wallace and Malone taking free kicks and corners. So they probably add that time up where they're standing there with the ball at their feet waiting to take the free kick or the corner. That's probably what that's bumped that up. So pass success percentage, yeah, this is awful for us. We're normally a lot higher than this. 54 is bad. It's bad. 54 to 75. Just couldn't pass it. But we didn't need to, did we? So Wallace 79. Tyler Burey's up there 62. Wonder how many actual passes that was off of though. Billy Mitchell is normally a lot higher than that, 64. He's normally like in the 80s, and McNamara as well. So they were lower. Weird. Wonder what happened. The dribbles 5 to 5. Aerials 28 to 24. Indeed. Tackles 18 for Millwall, 15 for them. Interesting. Okay. Corners 4 to 2. Dispossessed 7 to 10. Dispossessed is having the ball taken off you. Okay. So now we're going to move on to player stats. Basically what we've just seen, but a little bit more. So rating wise, highest rating, Jake Cooper 8.38. Ballard second, off of the bench second in basically what's that, 30 minutes on the pitch. He had 30 minutes on the pitch and he got a rating of 7.24. How? What did he do? And the player he replaced is in third, Sean Hutchinson, who had 63 minutes on the pitch. And he's just under Ballard with 7.14. That is incredible. And the other sevens, Billy Mitchell 7.13, Danny McNamara 7.09, Jed Wallace 7.06. That's a settle with 6th place, even though he did have an assist. And number 7, Bart Biakowski with the couple of saves that he made. Get match-winning saves. Gets him 7th spot in the ratings. In terms of subs, now George Evans come on. He did just get a little bit higher than Mason Bennett, although he actually had more time. So he had more time on the pitch than Mason Bennett. Normally when a sub comes on, the sub has less time on the pitch, like with Danny Ballard. But George Evans, Mason Bennett had 15 minutes on the pitch. He got a rating of 6.22. George Evans had 75 minutes on the pitch. Got a rating about the same as Mason Bennett, 6.24. So he had more time to do more things and didn't get a higher score. Interesting. Okay. So let's have a look at the touches. Scott Malone with 60 touches, nearly, and then there's a big gap to Jed Wallace. Sean Hutchinson, again, even though he has less time on the pitch than most everyone else, 47 touches. Interesting. Okay. So let's move on to offense. So we saw earlier 6 shots and 1 goal. Was that correct? Yes. So here's the 6 shots, and only like I said, only 2 shots on target. So scoring 1 goal from 2 shots on target, 50% success rate. That's pretty incredible. Yep. Unscheduled touches, basically poor ball control. Okay. George Evans with 3. That's yeah. I think a lot of people were not happy with George Evans, but what you gonna do? Defense, tackles. 10 players having tackles. Interceptions. Ballard with 3. 2 tackles. So here's Ballard's numbers: 2 tackles, 3 interceptions, 4 clearances. That's why he scores so high. Doing what you need to do in defence. Clearances: Jay Cooper 6, then Ballard, then Hutchinson, then George Evans. Okay, even Bart Biakowski having a clearance there. Block shots. Did we block any shots? George Travel block 1. Okay. Passing wise, as we've already seen, our passing accuracy was dog shit. So let's see. That is low. Those numbers are low numbers. Scott Malone only had 30 passes all game. That was the highest. Damn, these numbers are so low. Yeah. So there's Jed Wallace, 78.6 accuracy of 28 passes. Who did I say? Was it Tyler Burey? It's a 61 off of 13 passes. Yeah, not a lot. Yeah, it's just Billy Mitchell was normally like 79, 80 off of 50 passes, and he's not on. He's on 64% accuracy off of 25 passes. So yeah, that was a weird game, wasn't it? It was a weird game. So crosses and accurate crosses. So 6 players with crosses. So this includes corners, which is why Jed Wallace and Scott Malone are at the top. And accurate crosses. So Jed Wallace 6 and 2, Scott Malone 4 and 1, George Saville 2 and 1, Tyler Burey 2 and 1. Okay, long balls and accurate long balls. So Bart Piekowski 15 and 6. That's pretty decent for him. It's normally worse than that. What's that like? Just under half. That's not that bad. Scott Malone 9 and 3, Jake Cooper 8 and 2, Mario Wallace 8 and 4, Billy Mitchell 6 and 3, and then not so good McNamara 4 and 1, Hutchinson 3 and 0, Daniel Ballard 3 and 0. So that confirms Hutchinson and Ballard's scores were for their defensive duties, not for their passing, because the passing is not very good at all. Indeed. So there you have it. That's the statistical analysis from the game. Very low passing numbers, very low passing accuracy. But there's only one stat that matters, and that's Millwall 1, Sheffield United 0. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.